I'm going to talk about if I was going to leave my car NA, but I'm not. If it would go any faster if I would leave it like it is. Alright, this car is full weight, other than the spare tire taken out, and on 17-inch drag rails. It is a stock 5.7 bore and stroke pre-Eagle heads intake. It has drop-in rods with Wiseco 21 positive cc dome pistons, 11-to-1 compression ratio. Has a modern muscle extreme camshaft. It's one of their cams they offer, but we made a couple small changes to it. It's the Eagle NA cam. Has the comp cam springs, non-MDS lifters, custom length push rods, long tube headers, no cats, mufflers, engine and transmission tune from Chicken Hawk Motorsports. On 93 pump gas, has a 3200 stall and a Get Track rear end with 306 gears. I'm probably leaving something out. The fuel system was 100% stock. Now we're getting ready for boost, and I've already swapped my head gaskets. I put Cosmetic 5-layer 52 thousandths head gaskets on it, ARP head bolts. I had to remeasure my push rods to get custom push rods. I dropped the compression from 11-to-1 to 10.4. That way I can run a little bit more boost on 93 without having to switch fuels just yet. And I've already installed my fuel pump if you've seen the last video. Alright, now if I was going to leave the car a NA and I wasn't running boost, could I get it faster? Yes. I could probably get this car, if I was to leave it all motor, 12.0, 11.9. I could do a 392 gear, get it tuned on MS 109, switch this intake manifold out to an Eagle or a 6.4 intake manifold. That would gain at least 30 to 35 horsepower to the tire, at least. And put it around 420 something. Then do a little bit of weight reduction, and the car would probably get 12.0s, 11.9. But I never planned on staying all motor. I always wanted to supercharge it. So that's the reason I went with the 306 gear and not swapping intakes right off the bat and all that. Now, depending which way we go, centrifugal or positive displacement, the car is more or less set up for centrifugal, but I'm wanting a positive displacement because I don't have no doubts in a positive displacement. Centrifugals I do. There's not many people where I live run a lot of centrifugals, unless it's a real light car. You just got to run a lot more boost to make them do something, in my opinion. But the car is full weight. I don't have the rears on it right now, but no, it's full interior. Now these are my best time slips right here if it will show up on the video. It's ran 1240 at 108. It's ran 1241 to 110. The only reason the mile an hour was a little different is because of tire pressure. But the car on a glory path would probably crack into 12.3s the way it's set up before I put the thicker head gaskets and stuff on it. Full weight. But if I would do 392 gears, race gas, different intake manifold, a little weight reduction, I have no doubt that it would crack 12.0s, 11.9 on a good DA and good day. with cool weather and traction and so forth. But we're going to go for a little more than that because we're going supercharged. But I just wanted to go over that. Should be getting the supercharger here in close to a month. Really wanting a positive displacement. And just hope the transmission can hang in there for now, but I am going to pick up a spare and probably do a Troy Dean valve body. They got good results. Heard of people running 700-800 wheel out there with just a valve body and a stock transmission if you got the nag one. So we're going to test that theory. But on 93, we're just planning to shoot around 600 wheel, somewhere in that ballpark. Low 600s, as close as we can. Then maybe later on this summer, after we get the blower and stuff on it, I'll pick me up a spare transmission. We'll pull it down, put it on race gas, and just see what we can get. But also want to talk about a little bit about camshafts. A lot of these people, these pre-Eagles and some of these other guys, they just want the chop and the cam. Well, bigger's not always better, guys. I mean, you either want a dyno queen or you want something that's going to run good at the track. Me, I want something that's going to run good. I mean, granted, this ain't no 9-second car, but for full weight and the D8 that I run in, it does good. But you can't just throw the biggest hogging cam in there and expect it to run good without changing anything else. I mean, you might get a good dyno number, but you go out on the street or you go to the track and dead stop that thing and hit it, it's going to be a dog. You got to compensate for the big camshafts with gears and stall converters to get your low end back. That's my opinion. There's a lot more that goes into it than just throwing a camshaft in it. If you want the best performance, I see us on Facebook all the time on Hemi Marketplace and the pages and stuff on there. People asking what cam should run, what cam should run. Guys, find somebody that you want to go with and get a custom grind for your application and your plans of the car. Have it custom ground to what you plan to do with the car. That is the best performance and way to go about it that you'll get out of the car, is have it custom ground to match your modifications and your plans with the car and what you're wanting. Just slapping off the shelf cam in it, unless you know what you're looking at, you're just hoping and dreaming. And just because it's got a big choppy idle doesn't mean it runs good. There's a lot that goes into it. You throw a big 230, 240 duration cam in it with over 600 lift and just ballparking 113, 116 LSA on the same intake center line, it's going to be a dog on low end. It ain't going to have nothing but top end after 4,000 RPM. It's going to be an absolute turd off the line, unless you put a deep gear in it and a high stall converter. Now that's on pre-Eagle stuff. Now VVT stuff's a little different, and you have a little wiggle room there because you can still put the limiters in the phasers and still have like 10 to 15 degrees to adjust the cam through the computer. You can retard it or advance it. On a pre-Eagle motor, the only way to do that is to degree the cam, to move the RPM range if it's going to where you want it to come in at. If you want it to come in more down low end, or you want it to come in high end. But that's my thoughts on that. My cam is installed stock timing straight up. Most Hemi cams are if you get them ground right. Because they already have the advanced ground into it. My cam's already got the advanced ground into it. That's what's changed on it from what the normal spec is from Modern Muscle. Mine is advanced a little bit more to help with more low end. My car has power at every RPM. It don't bog, it don't lag. Now granted, I do have a stock converter and a gear, that helps. If it was stock gear and stock converter, it would bog a little bit. But this is the third camshaft that's been in this car. I've ran the Spartan Plus, I've ran one from J Green, and now I've got one from Modern Muscle. I like J Green's, but it's a little on the small side. And I also like Modern Muscles. I did not like the Spartan Plus at all. I put that in this car and I was gagged as soon as I pulled out of the driveway. I took this car to the track when I had the Spartan Plus in it. It was running 14s. The best I got was a 13.8. That is close to stock factory times on a 08 and back 5.7 Charger. It had no bottom end at all. It was all top end. The only thing that cam was good for was roll racing. Needless to say, it only lasted a month in my car. I took it out and sold it, and ordered one from Green, and ran his for a year or two. Then when I done the engine, I upgraded the cam again. And I also no longer use Jay for tuning because, my opinion, he was reaching his limit on his capabilities about tuning. So I switched. To make a long story short, I was just tired of the nonsense, and over the years it just seems like Jay's getting worse and worse on the tunes he's putting out. I mean, some people may disagree, but that's my opinion. And on a short note, not all, but a lot of your email tuners have packages. A lot of people don't think about this. They set in the R&D packages, their cams, if you got a Hellcat or something, their pulleys, their superchargers. They just spend a lot of time on the dyno, R&D and making changes and checking all this stuff, and they develop a package. They'll put a package together and sell you a package. You get that package, you put it on your car, they already know what they got to do because they spent numerous hours figuring it out. And they just have to make small tweaks depending where you live at for elevation and so forth. But you throw a curveball in there, say a 426 stroker on 12-to-1 compression with somebody else's cam and stuff, watch them, guys. You're data logging for weeks. Longer than that. Now, not all of them. Some of them is a little bit better and more used to the scrambled combinations as far as email tuning, but that's what they do. If you start going deep in your engine more than a camshaft and nitrous and stuff, depending on what platform it is, you need to find somebody that's local to you that has a dyno and it actually street drives the car after the dyno's done. That'll save you a lot of time, a lot of headache, and get the car dialed in. I mean, another long story short, my brother was using Green. He wasted $550 on a tune. 550 bucks. Wasted. Spent almost a month tuning his truck, and it would not fall out of a tree, guys. Took it to our new tuner. He had the truck dialed in an hour. Done. night and day difference. Don't know what the issue was. The guy never touched nothing but the tune. So that's why we switched. Now, that's just my personal opinion. I mean, you take it with a grain of salt. I can't tell you what to do, but that's my personal opinion. I've been a mechanic for many years. I'm not no tuner from a long shot, but I am a mechanic. I mean, you take it with a grain of salt. That's just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. You do what you want to do, but I just wanted to make this video mainly just to go over a few things if I was going to leave it natural aspirated or whatnot. But I don't have major big plans for this because it's just a 5.7 base car. And my goal was just to break into the 10s. But we all know how that goes. You always want more and more and more. We're going to throw a blower on it shortly. I'll post the videos when I do. And we'll try to take it to the track and hope we can hook it up when they open back up for the year. It's winter time right now. And we'll see if we can break into the 10s. Then maybe later on this year, we'll turn it up a little bit. See what we can get. Perfect combo for me would be a 1050 car, but it might get that turned up. But because they do a lot of bracket racing index with the 1050 class, and I still want to keep it where I can drive it when I want to, hop in it, go somewhere. Not trying to go full blown race car or nothing, just a nice street car for around here where I live at. You don't see really nothing faster than 11.0 car on the street around here locally where I live. But if you go an hour more for me, there's some fast cars. You're talking over 1,000 horsepower to the wheels, and some of them. But a lot of the high horsepower cars, they have a lot of trouble getting hooked on the street. But that's just my opinion. Hoping to get the hoping to do a torque or a E-Force, Edelbrock E-Force. I found one for a good deal. Just wait until I get the rest of the money, then we're gonna try to get it. If not, we'll just throw a torque storm on it. But as I hate to, because the torque storms are so limited. I'd rather have the positive displacement where the car is a heavy car to get it moving, if you could get it to hook. I've not really seen centrifugals do too good against the positive displacement around here at the track, when I go to the track. But I just want to make this video, go over some things. That's all for now, guys. Subscribe and like the channel.